water.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I drink way too much water.
Everybody should be on. I think your mic should be on. You can adjust it to how you want. Oh. This is...
Yeah, so I watched all this thing about Bruce Willis.
Oh, that's my sister. Hey, I'm in the middle of a podcast right now on video. And you're being recorded now, too.
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Hi.
We got Nicky over here. He played in the World Cup in the FIFA soccer football.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Okay, so I better talk to you later.
Yep, bye.
All right, bye. So
You didn't say hi, pal, did you?
almost sounded like Al,
I
didn't
know
it?
it did, didn't it?
Oh.
So, yeah, the movie stuff you were talking about.
Yes, about Bruce Willis, for an example.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis, for an example, is like he's well-known, like actor.
Famous, yeah.
Yeah, famous actor. And then when we watched, you want one now?
Oh boy.
And then we watched we watched a movie about him not so long ago, and then we saw him like really bad acting. Really bad
Bruce
acting.
Willis?
No, not Bruce Willis,
Oh,
but
okay.
the movie was really bad. Really bad. And then we saw another movie that Frasier, remember what's his name, the guy from Frasier?
Yeah, I know.
Frasier.
Grain. Yeah, Grain,
I know who you're
Kelsey.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yes.
So he was in this another movie that we watched, from Redbox, and then it was like really bad. He was a good actor, but like
He
the
stood
people,
out.
but the people around him acting, I was like, wait a minute,
It was an independent. So, and I think they do independents. I think they do independent movies to just ground them. I think that's the point.
But it was just weird. It's just like, how are you gonna from your acting professional level this high to the low level of acting career,
Money. No.
Yeah, but also it might be bringing them back to the helping people out and bringing them back down.
Oh, but it was like
Using their clout, I guess it would be.
But he was in this movie, from Transformer, to the movie that we just watched 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago.
Transformer.
He was from Transformer, the movie that.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg in it, and then it's with Kelsey in it.
Yep.
I was like, wait a minute, you're from a popular movie to a worst movie in the world.
Yeah.
I want to know the name of that movie though.
If I had my phone over here, I would have seen it, but it's like I totally forgot the name of it. But it's like we watched it, and it was just completely bad. Oh. Really bad movie.
Yeah. But you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know how it's going to turn out when they start.
Yeah.
Right? Because, there's a lot of actors that do those independent movies, and then all of a sudden whatever it is, and then it could all of a sudden just catapult them.
That's true. I'm just trying to think about what movie was it that catapulted somebody that.
But
yeah.
But I was just wondering if it was just looking for.
Jurassic Park guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just wondering if they're looking for money. Just they're low of financial, and then it's just like, okay, you know what? If they're asking me to get, to do this movie, I will do this movie, because I want money. So,
Jeff Goldblum.
I met that guy in New York.
Did you?
Yes.
He's done some independents. Mr. Frost was one of them.
I did not see Mr. Frost.
Actually, it's a weird movie, but he's well, he ends up being somebody that you didn't think he was. Without destroying the movie, it's actually a really good movie. It's a really good independent.
I met him over.
He's a murderer. In the movie.
Wow.
And there's people buried in his basement or under his house. So it's actually a good movie, and it's an independent. So, as far as I remember, he was the only most recognized actor in there.
Is it based on a true story?
That I don't think so.
I have no idea. I never seen it before. But I met that guy in New York, and then I shook his hand on the counter when I was trying to come over and get my room key, in the front desk.
Huh.
Seems like he's a really cool guy. Like,
Really,
you know,
he seems like a good guy.
He was a
seems
really,
cool.
really cool guy to hang out with. So I shook his hand. I was like, "Hey, can I have an autograph with you, or can I have a picture with you?" And then he's like, "I don't know, but I'm really busy. I'm just having something going on down in downtown that I really need to go." It's like, I don't mind, yeah, but
That's the thing I think with some of those famous people is like when we want to approach them and get an autograph, and we say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we would love a show." It's like I wonder if they get really tired of it, or if they're okay with it because they're there because we bought the movie tickets and we're a fan of theirs.
Right.
but there's certain things that there's humble people in acting career or industry, and then there's some people that is really pain in the ass, to deal with.
Wait a second. Yeah, well, Nicky, you're an international soccer player, football player. What about you? Have you ever had anybody come up and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm a great fan. Can I have an autograph?"
There's a bunch of them. There's when I went to Dubai, there's a guy. There was 4 people came over to me, and it's like, this is all the picture of you that I need to deliver to my family, and then I need to sign all of them. I was like, dude, do I have to do all the autograph for those? I was like, yeah, it's from my family. So it was another guy brought 10 pictures, and the other guy brought 8 pictures, and the other one brought 12 pictures. I was like, do I have to? And then the guy organizing a charity tournament, I was supposed to be in front of the Emirates Palace. He's like, guess what? We have a charity tournament that we need to participate. Can we please, I was like, can I do this really fast? And then it was going like this. But the other time, when I was in New Zealand, and then after the game, we played against New Zealand. So we came over on the grandstand and wait there, to watch another game. And then there was 5 girls, college girls.
I like this story already.
So they came over and was like, "Hey, can we get your autograph? Can we get your picture?" So I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Why not?
So came over and then it was I have pictures with them. So the other one is "Can I have your autograph on the back of my shirt?" And then she was like this. I was doing it. The other one came over and was like, "Can I have a pictures of you?" And then it's putting over here on the arm. And then guess what? The other one came over and said, "Can I have your autograph on my chest?"
Right here.
So she put it down her shirt, just to barely cover the nipples. And then I was like, "Can you sign your autograph right there?"
Well, that is
And you
legal
said
if they're
no.
not showing the nipples.
Did you say no?
Oh, I didn't say no. I have to say yeah. I was in that age. I was like, "Hey, keep going,"
Oh man.
Well, hopefully we're not recording this.
Oh yeah, it's all being recorded. But I can always edit and delete. Hey, there's a picture of somebody at the front door on that camera right there.
Is that a Ring camera?
That's a Ring camera.
Wow, that is so kind of cool.
Oh, I'm in
That's
your,
really
I'm in your
cool.
camera.
No, that's cool. It doesn't matter.
That is so awesome.
Did you guys, speaking of Ring and all that stuff, did you hear about the new Ring security camera that's coming out in a couple of months? The one the Fly Ring or something like that? Mm-mm. Oh, this is crazy.
What, is a drone going up on the air with the ringtone?
Yes, it's made by
oh my
Ring
goodness.
and
That's what we thought. I thought of this a while ago. So when someone does something, it comes Ring.
We were
goes
talking about that
So-
inside the warehouse the other day.
you can you can have a pre-planned flight pattern through your house, and when you want to see what's going on or something happens, you hit the button. The drone goes and it flies through the pre-flight pattern through your house. It's a drone, and it's only going to cost something like $200 or
Oh,
$250.
that's perfect. Man, they're ahead of their game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what?
It's just crazy. But so crash, click.
Yeah.
Probably just match that out.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been talking about a lot of stuff, but we haven't really even talked about you.
Yeah.
Who are you? Nicky?
I'm just a guy that is like here enjoying beer with you guys.
Wait a second. I guess we should officially be wearing our masks, shouldn't
Yeah, we have
Sorry.
to.
The
Yeah,
first
so this is
part
on
of
video.
The first part of this video is
yeah.
going to be audio.
Yeah. Please don't put any hate mail for us.
Yeah,
We
it's
just
gonna
forgot.
be $100,000 going on around.
Yeah. Should we just kind of sort of kick it off and we'll just.
Yeah.
So
actually, it's like.
Why don't you tell us really who you are? I mean, you're a international soccer football player. You're a goalkeeper. Boy, this really muffles me, doesn't it? It feels like I'm wearing a panty or something like that strapped
I
on
feel
me.
like you can charge me with $200,000, but I can't even talk without that.
How about if I do this?
So I can't even talk. So
I
But
can't
we've been in
breathe.
quarantine for 14 days. So
yeah,
we
we
should
did.
be okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
we
was
should be-
quarantined. I was quarantined for 14 days. Yeah,
I can't breathe.
I can't even breathe either. I can't even talk and breathe at the same time.
Yeah, Nicky. So, yeah, might as well go ahead and kick this off. I mean, you, like I said, you're an international soccer player. You've
Yeah.
played with various teams, American Samoa. You've played with Austria, right?
No,
The first-
actually, that was a wrong. That was a false statement.
that was.
It was a false statement.
Well, that needs to be corrected off the internet.
Yep, because with Wikipedia, it didn't work that way.
That's exactly where I got that information from.
Yeah, so it's a good thing because you're the first one knows that.
Wow.
Look at that.
And you know what
Yeah.
was
You did
crazy?
your research.
They said that you were paid. You went over there and signed a contract for $850 US
Nope,
dollars and went to play
never
Austria.
happened.
Wow.
They owe you money.
I know, it should be. They should send me that amount of money that they owe me.
No,
What's
10
cool is
times
Nicky
that.
knows about it, though.
Yeah, but so now it's like you're the first person that ever known this. It's like this is like the most interesting subject that we ever discussed like the whole time.
Wait a second. I thought all the infidelities that all the other
Yeah.
players, were that. I thought that was the
No, that
exciting.
was
No.
before this podcast.
So now it's just like everyone's just like, wait a minute, we saw you on the Wikipedia. It's like you've been playing in Austria for like that amount of money, but no, it never happened.
Wow. Okay. Shoot. So how about some of the stuff that said that like 2000 was it 2001?
Yeah.
Where the team, except for you, everybody on the team, their visa or something like that.
Yes.
They it was not. They could not get into the country to play the World Cup.
So to be honest, it's like we used to have a great squad. There was some Sounders, semi-pro player was supposed to come over and play for us. There was 6 of them that was supposed to participate in that tournament in Australia when we have the 31-0. But with the identification thing, the passport situation didn't happen. Excuse me. So we have Costa Rica players, we have Chile players, we have Puerto Rico players, we have American players. This whole squad, and then we have 4 national players from Samoa was supposed to play for us, and then 2 New Zealand players were supposed to play for us, and then all this gone downhill because it's like this is like 2 weeks before the tournament start. 2 weeks before the tournament start.
And this is a FIFA.
This is FIFA World Cup qualifications for 2022 for 2002 World Cup in South Korea and Japan.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen because it's like so when that failed for us with the passport situation, we have to find anyone have an American passport to go play for our team.
Well, that's like
Anyone.
So that's like playing the basketball equivalent of pickup. You just pick somebody up off the street
Exactly.
and you play.
Exactly. So you have like anyone, like any strangers, like who don't even know if they ever played soccer before.
So you're not a team at this point.
No,
You're just getting,
we were trying to figure out how many people that we can put in this team
Right.
to go in Australia, because by law, if you don't have a team, you have to pay a fine for the World Cup qualifier.
right.
So we ended up going to high school. We're gonna go to any youth program.
Wow.
And it was only two of us that was old in that team. The older guy was 24 and I was only 20 years old. And then the rest of them was high school, plus 4 8th grader was playing in our team.
4 8th graders?
4 8th graders. 4 8th graders was playing against real professional players from England that was playing in that tournament.
And this is
So-
the first time they've played with you guys.
First time I ever played with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not really a cohesive team
No.
at this point.
We're not even like a team that we prepare for a long amount of time, because it's like in Australia, for example, they prepare their national team for a year before they play in the international level.
Wow.
So it's like the same thing with any other team. But us, we set up this team for only 2 weeks before we fly to Australia to play against Australia. If you watch like the whole thing against Australia, like us against Australia, you will see the difference between people who know how to play soccer and people that don't even know how to play soccer. But I put all the effort that very proud of them. They didn't even know how to play soccer, but they tried really hard to hold their ground.
Yeah, they made an effort, right?
Yeah, they did some, but not all of them. But it's like, they did, try the best they can, And then for me, I was like, I never, that was my first international game for American Samoa, because I used to play for Winston Samoa national team. So,
And there is a difference
There's a
between
big
Winston
difference.
and American Samoa.
yes, there's a huge difference. So when I play down there, there's more reliability for me to hold my ground. To be more solid and stable. But playing for American Samoa without those original player before we went to Australia, before the passport thing, it would be a different story.
I don't know, this is kind of jumping all over the place, but since you've played internationally, and you've played in the States, of course, America, right? What's the difference? I mean, is the crowd different, and is your game plan any different? Do you put on a show when you're in America, or do you play the sport?
Yeah. To be honest, I just play the sport that I love. There's a difference between having passions, and and then just be a celebrity on a soccer field. So if you want to be a celebrity and to become famous in soccer, that is your own way of playing. But for me, it's just like, I always want to be a soccer player and a football player with passions and love.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between love and and then be somebody that you don't want to be. So
Al, have you ever played soccer?
I have. Junior high.
Was that professional?
Very professional. No, it was not. I barely played soccer.
You know what? The one thing, Nicky, that just kind of blew me away is I played soccer when I was little, the junior league stuff. But then, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, I went to Idaho. I was dating a gal, and her son played soccer. So, and it was a tournament weekend. I went there, and I looked, I'm like, how come there's like 100 trophies? Oh, everybody's a winner.
wow.
Because
I wanna
all
be
of this,
there.
yeah. And then what I noticed is like the front line it's like I had the center and I had I can't remember now. I can't remember all the positions. I had the two next to the center and then the wings. But so we had 5 guys on the front line, and all of a sudden they're only having 4 people, and then they have like 3 fullbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things have just changed.
Yeah.
I was just like, what happened to soccer? So.
It's like, right now it's like the whole soccer way of, like, for me, like watching U.S. soccer, it's like it's completely different, like, from other football associations.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like United States soccer is just completely weird.
Really? Okay.
I would think so. From what I know, because it seems like America, the U.S., let me clarify that, likes high-scoring games. Soccer is not a high-scoring game, typically. And they want to see a score and a score and a score and score. But it seems like when you watch soccer, like internationally, you see the development of the play.
Exactly.
And that's what's cool, is they're trying to make this play happen. And that's the cool thing about the international soccer, what I've noticed.
Oh, you know what? That's it. Like, that's the whole thing about, like, what Al says is, like, it's all about development.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how you develop the game from the back to the front, and how you like to rotating the ball, like, in certain ways. It's like, to make sure that you have to pass the defender so you can score that goal. For me personally, when I watch soccer, that's why I love watching British soccer and like European soccer, because the way they play is it's like they all build around it, like, touch, like, passing from each side to each side. It's like, until they finish it. But in American football, American soccer, they're playing football, American football. They're like kicking the ball from over here to the goalkeeper.
Yep.
I was just going to mention that. So, I have noticed that.
Yeah, so that's like, that's not football.
Yeah.
That's American football. That's not even like European football. What we call soccer. Like, soccer is all about like developing and, and creating like, good moments.
Mm-hmm.
How you create good moments to score a goal. And
then the when you don't score the goal, you miss whatever happens, and then you go,
yeah,
it's that,
that's what. Yeah.
Going along with that, I remember seeing with American soccer or even the junior league kind of thing in the States with the goalkeeper, with the goalie. They get the ball, and it's just like, kick the heck out of that thing and try to get it all the way down the field as you can, far as you can, and then run and gun it kind of thing. But it kind of took away the excitement of the game to me, because it's like all I'm doing is watching the ball go like this.
You're running and running.
Instead of passing and playing, and like I said, instead of setting up a play, now it's just kick the heck out of that thing and get it down to the other end, and then let's work it into a goal.
So I used to coach a team over there in Milton, in Edgewood and Milton.
Where's Milton?
In Federal area.
Oh, okay. So
like Milton, Edgewood, and Five. So there's a club. It's called Five FME, and I coached their team. And this kid, all these kids is like from rec level, and then this is a select team that I coach. So they brought all these kids in, and then I was like, okay, I can deal with them. So we just do this. And then there's like 2 kids just like kicking the ball. I was like, you kick the ball one more time, go tell your parents to pack your things and then never come back over here. That's what I told them. It's like, don't ever kick the ball again. You got to pass the ball, or otherwise it's like, you got to go sit down or pick up your stuff and go tell your parents, don't ever come back in this team. So, and that's how we like started, and then we developed. We ended up like runner up in our divisions.
Oh.
So we play one of the best club in Seattle. It's called Seattle United, and that club is one of the famous club in Washington.
So speaking about basically going back to the basics. How about for you? When did you actually start playing football, soccer. Do you want me to call it soccer? Or do you want me to call it football?
I don't really care.
Okay.
You know, it's football and soccer is all the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up, it's like I never call it football because it's like, you know, in the island we always call it soccer. So, but in Samoan name for soccer is soka. S-O-K-A.
S-O-K-A.
That's how we call it in the island. Soka. It's like, you know, so we call that, you know, growing up. But anyway, we went to, my friend was telling me, it's like, let's go play this, like, you know, there's a game that we're playing. And then I never played soccer before. Excuse me. But we always play rugby in front of our, you know, in our village. So this is a house of millions of like small houses surrounding a soccer field and a rugby field. So this rugby field, we always play rugby and we always play soccer sometimes, but we never have a soccer team. So anyway, I was 11 years old, and then we go to the other village right next to us, and it's like, okay, we joined this soccer team, and then we're gonna go play. So we went over and play, and then I was playing outside left back. And I never played goalkeeper before. But our goalkeeper got injured, and then I was like, maybe I'll play goalkeeper then. I started over there. It makes really good saves. Save this, save that. And it's like, okay, well, you gotta come like as a permit, like, you know, permit goalkeeper. So I ended up like, you know, and there was a tryout for a U12 that was supposed to go to New Zealand. So I ended up select as a goalkeeper for our team. I started from there when I was 11. We went to New Zealand. After that, I was 13. We played for the U13. We went to Australia, and we went to Fiji, Cook Island, and so on and so on. I was like a little Mr. Celebrity, like, you know, traveling, you know, all over the place. So down in where I'm from, if you go, and then before I go to college or to high school, if any of your player in your high school travel to anywhere, your school will go this high, become popular.
Okay.
Like really popular. So I went to this school. It's called St. Joseph College, and that was my because I'm Catholic, and then we went there. Our school like going really high, like, you know, I was traveling, and I played for the U15, U17, U19, U20, and I was 16. I was playing for the Samoa national team. Yeah.
Did you ever feel a sense of responsibility because, like you said, you're becoming famous?
No.
And now, no.
I don't want to be.
But you are on your way at that time becoming famous because now the school is becoming recognized because you're traveling and playing internationally. I mean, did that make it to where it made it more difficult for you to perform or play the sport? Were you trying to change certain things about you, or did you still just play the sport because of the sport?
I was still the same. You know, like I always tell Al, like, you know, I'm working. It's like I'm still like the same person if I'm working or if I'm not working. I'm still gonna be like the humble person that I ever have. Like, you know, sports is always sports, like, you know, and then it's always the sports that I love.
Yeah.
So if I play the sports, it don't change me, but it makes me excited. Because there's a lot of girls over there to watch me play.
Yeah. Hey, Al, is he really that humble, or is it all about the girls?
It's all about girls.
But that's the way it is. You have to be like, you know, to be really excited because it's like, it motivates you.
Yeah.
You know, before, you know, when people watching you play, and then if you play good, it's like, you know, makes you really, really like, you know, become something like it's like you never expected before. But it is always a sport that I love, and I just like, I don't want to make people think that, oh, he just played a sport because he wants to become famous. But no, it's all about like how you take care of yourself and how you respect the sport that you love.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're a working guy.
Yeah.
It's not like you're, hey, I'm famous, I play it all over the world, and I'm kind of semi-retired because I got millions coming in. You're a working guy with a family, and you play soccer because you love it.
If I have $2 billion in my account right now, it don't mean nothing to me. I was still gonna work. Cause my dad always tell us, it's like, if it don't work, don't ever live in this world.
I'm putting in my pink slip if I had $2 billion out.
So it's like, that's what my dad always says. It's like, you know, I'll tell you a little story about smoking. So my dad is a big smoker, and then he smoked a lot. And when we're like 17 and 18, and then our dad says like, why are you asking me for a cigarette? Do you work? No. If you don't work, don't smoke.
Huh.
But if you work, you can buy the cigarette that you want to smoke. So that's the way our dad always tells us. It's like, if you don't work, don't ask for anything. You have to work hard for what you can get.
Right.
But I'm going to say we're not condoning smoking.
No, yeah, but it's like, you know, that's like, you know, that's the way we grow up. It's like, you know, our dad's is like, if my brother comes over, it's like, hey, Dad, can I have a smoke from you? My dad's like, do you work? No. Okay, you have to go find a job so you can buy your cigarette.
Making your own decisions, basically.
Yes.
So basically, like almost like if you didn't vote, you can't complain about how the country's going.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of similar.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you have to work hard for what you get, you know? Don't try to get something for free. You have to work hard for it.
Now, did you ever retire or take a little break from playing?
Actually, I thought about retiring. I thought about like leaving soccer and then like, okay, you know what? Maybe football is not my, you know, kind of thing. You know, maybe I'm just not gonna, you know. But football, I keep thinking about back in football. Football takes me everywhere. Football is like, it's the center of my life.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, without football, I wouldn't even be in Tahiti. I wouldn't be in, you know, Cook Island or Australia, New Zealand, or Dubai or wherever. I never been in anywhere because it's like, it's football. So it's like, without football, my life would be horrible. You know, I would be drunk and then like get beat up by some other people, like you know, doing drugs or anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's like football is always like, you know, keeping me alive inside.
Well, I guess that's on a side note for people who are watching and listening. It's you find something that you love, and you follow it, whether it brings monetary success or not. It tends to keep you out of trouble because it's something that you love, right?
Yeah. It's always like, you know, it's always giving me like in a straight path of like, you know, where you can find your main goal in life. It's like, do you have any goal for anywhere? Like, you know, for any reason. But for me, it's just like, it kept me like to motivate myself to continue, like, you know, like to be, okay, soccer is like the sport that is always make me laugh and love, and then sharing culture with other people. Like, you know, finding new relationships with other people, finding new friendship with other people. So it's not about only like yourself. It's about like how you communicate with the world.
Right. So it's almost like the solid, the continuity. Basically, soccer's been there with you.
Yeah.
Like your relationship to soccer has been with you since you were a young child, and you always come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's been there. It's helped you.
It helps me like growing, and then it's like, you know, and to be with a role model, like a role model from, you know, from my son, for an example.
How old is your son?
He's 13 right now.
Okay.
But it's a really good thing, like, you know, to make sure that me and my sons, like, you know, have a really communications and really good relationship.
Yeah.
Because soccer bring us together as like a really good like bonding. you know. Excuse me. But it's for me to become like, for the young generations, I just want the young generation to not, you know, to not feel that left out from soccer or any other sports. You know, you have to make sure that, like, soccer or any other sports will bring you life, will bring you, like, you know, love in this world. So.
Well, before we get into the next phase of you playing or your future, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
Because I gotta go pee now. Whoa! You can go first on this. I'm gonna hit pause on this thing. It's like I'm going, all right, gotta find a good breaking point. And I gotta make sure everything is getting recorded right.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh yeah, we're recording there. That's good.
What is that?
Al, you need to give him a break.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, it's recording.
Nice.
Nice. We should record the whole conversation that we had before.
You're gonna start out with what the
What?
What's he start? What the fuckers? What's up?
Oh, yeah. What does he say? What the fuck?
He's the master.
Yeah, Marin. WTF?
Yeah.
It's, man.
Have you watched that or listened to it?
No,
Oh, you gotta
I
listen
never.
to that. WTF? That's a really good podcast. Well, he's the
Podcast.
master of podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you say that at first, like right in the beginning.
He says something
But
like,
it's-
"What the fuckers" or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah,
it's
it's called
like-
WTF.
But that's how I, like, you know, like,
Smart
make
man.
it more interested. It's like, you know, for people like swearing a lot on the broadcast.
Well, I think that's the point, is the breaking the ice, saying we can say what we need to say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
it's
It's
open
like you
forum.
have to be
Yeah.
like, you know, do exactly what it comes from your heart, and
Exactly.
you know, yeah.
And right off the bat, he's saying, "What the fuckers? What the fuckets? What's up? The fucking
Oh, when I
whatever."
was in Australia, it's just like, you know, every single little word that people were saying is like, you know, is a fuck there, fuck there,
Yeah.
fuck there. It's like fuck is like all over the place.
Yeah. But then in the podcast, he's not swearing that much.
Right. He's not.
He just opens it up and says, "You can do what you want," and then he goes through, and then it's a normal conversation. I mean, there are f-bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more of a conversation.
Well, what's cool about the podcast, or at least definitely for me, because I'm poor, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but we could say and do whatever we want.
Oh, that would be
It's
good.
freedom of speech. Isn't
That's
that
what-
kind of sort of right?
That's what's cool about podcasts.
And that's the whole reason I came in the United States. It's a free country.
No, you didn't come here because of soccer.
No, I didn't come over here for soccer. I came over here because it's a free country.
Well, yeah. Since you were mentioning how we play soccer over here, yeah, you probably did not come over.
no.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a worse thing that I ever experienced in my life in soccer life in the United States. To be honest,
What was the worst? What do you
like
mean?
how much like you can cost to play in soccer, like how much that your kid can play in soccer. You go down where I'm at, like where I'm from, you don't cost anything. Mm-hmm. You don't pay anything to play soccer.
Samoa.
Yes, you play for free because FIFA is providing everything for any soccer team in the United States, in Samoa. But United States don't want to be in FIFA because it's like, guess what? If they're gonna be in FIFA, they're gonna lose a lot of money. And then I just found out it's like, without money, sport will never survive in the United States.
Nope. No.
And that's why I'm saying it's just like, United States is not about soccer. It's all about money.
You know what? So I guess that's pretty much the same with any sports in America. It's about your advertisement. It's about money, how much you
Yeah.
can bring in. College sports, people complain about, oh, I'll bring this up. It might be the bad thing. Women's sports, women's soccer.
Exactly.
They complain that they're not getting paid as much as the men. The unfortunate thing is the men's soccer league is bringing in more money. It may have been that during the Women's World Cup that they brought in more viewer on the finals, the final game. Mm-hmm. But as a whole, throughout the entire season, it's men's soccer who generates more advertising income. So it's
Yeah.
all about money here in the
And I
States.
agree with that. I think it seems like, to me, since there is more light on those sports and women sports and how much difference they make in money, that might change in the future, which is good. Because in movies, right? In movies, this is a whole different genre, but it seems like they're focusing more on women movies and women being the heroine about the movies. So it seems like it's generating more and more of a monetary value.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, when you say movies, like I just watched Anna last night.
Right.
So it's like a good thing then. There's like,
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yep.
I just watched Anna last night.
Right. They're putting emphasis on women being the hero instead of always men. Always. Yes.
See, the problem is United States, like, in soccer-wise, like for the men, for an example, men don't even bring anything in this, in this sports. They're just like, they're just like product that you can go in the store and buy for a cheap price. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys follow? It's like you go in the store and there's a cheap thing like right next to the expensive thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy the cheap thing. Yeah. So it's the same thing with men's, but the women's are providing like the most expensive product. They're selling the most expensive product, but the men's is not selling any most expensive product. They're not.
Kind of like women give birth and we don't do anything.
Exactly.
No, women.
Yes,
provide
exactly.
life. Yeah.
So it's like the women's. I don't mind them like complaining for making more monies, making more monies, but the women should deserve more money in the United States than the man does, because the man is they don't even do anything.
Right. The women's products. I mean, if you think about it, the women's products, there are more women's products than there are men's products.
Exactly.
Because women buy the most stuff. I would think. I'm just going off of stores.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Makeup. I'm just talking about makeup, shoes, all the clothing. They buy the most stuff.
Yeah. And then guess what? In soccer in the United States, I don't know about like my research is like if it's right or wrong, but there's more female soccer players in the United States than men's does.
Well, that's the thing with female soccer. I mean, that has grown a
Big time.
lot.
Yeah. In the United States.
Yep,
and then
in
I
the
don't
United
blame
States,
them.
yeah.
And then it's like for me, it's just like I go back. What I say is like why FIFA is not a commit in the United States? Why is like not FIFA taking over the United States? The only reason that FIFA's not like the only reason that the United States like don't accept FIFA because they don't want to lose that amount of money.
Yeah, that that's the thing. Is so we say that it's the women's sports, soccer in particular at this point in time is growing a lot, but it still comes down to the bottom line, the dollars, and what is it that as consumers are watching and more excited. Dollars, men. Football today. We were watching Seahawks earlier today, and it's men's football. Well, there's a women's football league. It used to be called the Lingerie LFL, the Lingerie Football League, and now it's IFL. Hey, don't laugh. I took photographs of the very first season that they were on. But I guess what I'm getting at is that those ladies, those women, they play hard and they are treating it like a sport. But we treat it like it's a spectacle, entertainment.
Exactly.
And it's like, all right, it's not really real kind of thing. And I'm not going to pay $100 a ticket. I'll pay $10 a ticket type
Just
of
to
deal.
go drink a beer and entertain myself.
Yep.
Yep.
So, in a way, the women are getting the raw end of the deal, but I think what's hurting it is the consumers, us. We just refuse to pay the amount of money that we pay for men, the men's sports. So,
but the thing is like from the men's soccer, like perspective, is it's like, why did you why would you spending money for our national soccer team if they're not brought any good in this country, like the women does.
Mm-hmm.
We build up a lot of we put a lot of money to prepare our national team to go play the World Cup. And when they go, they didn't even make it in the World Cup qualify, for God's sake. That is sick.
Yep.
And then it's embarrassing how big United States is, but they can't even qualify for a World Cup
They don't support
competitions.
Yeah.
Support it.
Yeah, so what I mean is like, if you can't qualify for the World Cup, that means you're not taking this seriously.
Right.
You're taking this just for a celebrity, to be a celebrity, to become something that you that no one of us is want to be.
Well, you think of the basketball team, then you throw the basketball team into the Olympics, and you say, well, they supported the basketball team going into Olympics because they're going to dominate it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And if they're not going to dominate it, we're not going to support it.
Yeah.
One area as far as women's sports go that I think that has a huge opportunity to grow is softball. The reason being is it's exciting watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is that you don't see men's softball, right?
Yeah. I did play.
Yeah.
I did play.
You played.
I did play.
But it's not big.
Yeah.
But softball for women, because in a way I think a lot of people think underthrowing and things like that, oh, it's a women's sport, but it's
growing.
very popular. It's fast-paced. It's growing. It's exciting. I think that's something where it would really grow for women's sports.
And that might be an in. The thing is, though, it shouldn't be an in because men don't do it. It should be an in, right? Because everybody does it, and it just happens that women do it as well. Mm-hmm. But that might be an in to get more gravity towards women's sports.
And it's incredible how they play. I mean, the pitches. I mean, we're talking underarm stuff, but the way that they throw the pitches. Oh my
it's like
God.
70 miles an hour?
Yeah.
There's no way I can throw that in 70, especially in awkwardness, it's like throwing. There's no way I can do that. And
Yeah.
I can even go like this in 70 miles an hour. That's it's crazy.
Right.
It might
His
be.
bowling ball with
Yeah.
a little ball at 70 miles an hour.
Always going in the cutter.
But yeah, I mean, softball, women's college and stuff is really exciting. I think it is. So
I just watch the college girls. They play.
yeah, you watch the college girls. No.
Because it's college
But,
girls.
but it is exciting, right? But I mean, it's exciting. It's
yeah,
fast paced. To me, honestly, it's more exciting than watching Major League Baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Basketball. Basketball. It just seems like people are going back and forth across the court and scoring and scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an individual sport.
Exactly.
It's not a team sport. It doesn't.
That's the thing that I like. My son loves basketball right now.
Good old NBA.
Yeah. So my son we just bought this video game with Kobe Bryant's in front of us, the 2021. And we bought it for a long time, and then he's like, "Oh, Dad, I don't have anyone to play with." It's like, "Oh, go play it. You good?" And he's like, "Can we play?" No, because every time we play soccer on the video games, he's always about him talking smack to me. He's like, "Hey, how about that? Oh, how about that?" It's like, I'm going to score you on this and that. It's like in your face. It's like, okay, that is about him. He's always talking a lot of smack about me, every sports that we play, every game, And it's always like, I'm not going to play against you in basketball because he's really good in video games. Mm-hmm. So we ended up okay, I will probably going to play one game, just one game. First quarter, I have only 6 points. He got 30 points. Second quarter, he got 80 points. And then I got 16 points. And then he's like, How about that, Dad? Did you see I got he was dunking right over and then his 3 points in your face. I was like, okay, here's the deal. Right after the game, I was like, here's the deal. Don't ever ask me to play against you because you're not asking me to play you because you want to play. You're asking me to play against you because you want, to dominate the situation, and then you want to talk a lot of shit about me. So that's it. So I just don't want to play against him anymore.
Speaking about the that and the future sports, what about you and your future in soccer?
Oh, you know what? Go into the soccer thing for the games.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the World Cup 2010, I'm inside that game.
The video game.
The video game.
Really?
You go to FIFA World Cup 2010.
So someone was asking about that.
Yeah, 2010 World Cup. You will see me playing that.
That is actually pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Did you get any money for that?
I don't get any money, but the thing is it's all about pride. It's not about money.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you put my name out there, it's at least I'm motivating all the young generations in Samoa to become soccer players.
Do you do some smack talking?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of smack talking.
Is it your voice that they're using?
Yes.
Really?
They did steal that from the guy from Australia. The one who wrote the 31-0.
Oh.
So I have a little smack talk because he record that and then he's like, okay, I think he makes money out of it, but it's just he sent that over.
Okay, so I have to ask you this as much as it pains me. You're the only player now on the current roster, right?
Yeah.
That was on the 2001 FIFA World Cup that lost 31-0, right?
Yes.
So, but you did redeem yourself. What was it? 2011.
Yep.
Yeah.
2011.
And did you get a lot of crap for it? Did they blame you, or is just really what happened is you didn't have a team. You were the only person that was the team. It's just you guys, where's the defense? Where's the offense?
No.
And you're you're playing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that had to have been really hard. Did it hurt you emotionally, or?
You know what? To be honest, it hurts me physically and emotionally. So it was painful. I was crying most of the time when I was probably 15 minutes before the game. I think halftime, I cried at halftime. I was I can't even do this anymore. I can't even stand over there and embarrassing myself more and more.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I supposed to to come back from 16-0? How am I gonna come back from that? And then I was like, wait a minute. If I don't do this for my country, why I'm here then?
Yeah.
Why I came over here this far to be here if I don't stand up for my country? I'm gonna put my players on the side. I will still support them 100 million %, but I will fight for this until the end. And then when I went back in the second half, I was like, it's getting worse and worse. And I was keep crying, and I was like, God, give me the strength to survive for another 10 minutes.
Well, I guess that's the testament to you, because win or lose, you were about the sport and the love of the sport. It's not about fame, fortune, and I gotta win. No. It's the love of the sport and playing for your country you were there to represent. So.
Yeah, I was I wasn't even care about what the outcome was. I didn't even care the outcomes. I was I have to protect this goalpost as much as I can.
Yeah.
God is my witness. Give me the strength to just to protect this goalpost.
Yeah.
I was asking God most of the times because I got knocked out, blackout 2 times. 5 minutes stop. I got blackout.
Really?
You can see that in the video.
Yeah, I got blackout 5 minutes because there was a shot that came over straight, like probably like 10 feet away, and then hit me right there. My whole body was on the air. Boom, hit the ground. Got blackout, and 5 minutes stops, and then continue again. And there was a corner that come over, and then I tried to catch, and then the player came over and headbutt me on the back of my head, fall on the ground, face forward, got knocked out. Another 5 minutes stop.
Wow.
So I continue playing because it's like I can't help it. If I stop, there will be a worse amount of goal than the way we're at. So.
Well, I mean, you and American Samoa team had been plagued with bad luck for a while because you even missed a flight, right, from Hawaii? Yeah.
Yes,
Well, how did you miss a flight?
So anyway, I went to Per City, bought some macadamia nuts, and then came back. And then I was really tired. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to sleep right, I'm going to take a nap right in front of the gate to people to walk in.
Yeah.
Okay? I have macadamias, but I think I told my wife to call me, to woke me up. Mm-hmm. But my phone was on silent, unfortunately. All these Samoan people walk in this, like, going to the gate. When they were calling my name, there was none of them is like, hey,
Nicky, wake up.
yeah, the flight is boarding right now. None of them asked me to be like, hey, the flight is boarding right now. None. I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I was crying at the airport.
I did.
I cried at the airport.
That has happened to me before too, for work, where I was there hours early, decided to take a little nap, and then they changed the gate on me.
Oh.
And I didn't know. So it's nothing on you or I, and it happens, but it's an unfortunate thing. So what was the outcome? What happened with that particular game in that situation?
I didn't go there. There was no other flights to go down there. Where
was it that you were flying to again?
To Samoa.
Okay.
To American Samoa. Mm-hmm. But that was Thursday night, and there was another flight that's going to go to Monday. So I was waiting until that, and then they says like, oh, all the standbys are booked. So I was like, there's no way I can like find a flight. So I was looking for any flight to go to New Zealand, to go to Samoa. There was nothing. And then there says like, oh, Air New Zealand is like gone 2 minutes ago. I was like, I asked you if there was a flight to go to New Zealand, and then you say there was no flight. Like that was yesterday. And then you told me that it was like 2 minutes, the flight left. I was like,
that was against Tonga?
No.
What was that one against?
And that was South Pacific game was in Samoa.
Okay.
So I was supposed to be in Samoa for that South Pacific game, and then right after that, I flew back down in the island in 2008 and played for our country for another 3 games, 3 tournaments, and I was really. I don't know if it's just gonna go up on the air or whatever. I don't really care. But,
yes.
But I was a really bad dad. My son was only 1 year old back then.
Okay.
In 2008, and I was a really bad person. Doing a lot of bad decisions.
How old were you?
In 2008. And I decided to be having a little bit of separated from my wife. And
How old were you in 2008?
28.
Yeah, so you're still pretty young.
Yeah.
So I decided to go down to the island and take a break from my wife and So I was working down there to support my family at the same time. You know, even that I make only like $250 like every 2 weeks, but I still trying to send money over.
Yeah.
So it was really hard, and discuss about myself, like, you know, like every single day when I woke up in the morning, it's like there's, you know, I have a son and then I'm not there for him. So
Well, I just met you, and whether you think or say that, you know, maybe you weren't a good father, but I have to say that you must have been, because you just said that you were there working to try to still provide for your family. So your family was still important to you, right?
yeah, you know, in our human life and culture that I grew up in, like in the islands, it's like my grandparents raised me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even raise me with the disrespectful way.
Yeah.
They raised me with respect. So I always have to respect, you know, where I'm at, or to respect my my wife and my son. Like, you know, I provide this kid, and then I have to respect him, and I want him to be his dad. You know, I just don't want him to be like left out, or like, you know, some other person's like to take over his, you know, my place.
Yeah.
And then I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So
Well, so here we are in 2020. You're 38? Or
I'm 40.
30? What? 40 years old?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Happy belated birthday. So
Thanks.
here we are in 2020. You're 40 years old. What does the future hold for you as far as soccer? Are you going to continue for another few years? Are you thinking about really going into coaching to teach the younger kids about soccer? What does the future hold for you?
Football is still football is my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like it's a love of my life.
Okay.
So wherever football at, I will be there. To break the ice for that, in March, we have a schedule for World Cup qualify. And
March of 2021.
Yes.
World which
Cup.
team?
American Samoa.
Ah.
And the World Cup qualify is gonna host down in American Samoa. If anyone wants to come watch me in the last moments,
Are you going to pay for me as a photographer to come down? Because I will be there.
I'll pay for that.
yes. We are me and Al were gonna get some money to put together for you to come down to do that.
You know, speaking of Al, this character right here, you work as a regular, what do we call it, blue collar worker right now?
Well, where
and
am I?
you two work together.
We do.
Can I say
yeah?
that he's the senior?
I am senior because I am 57.
He's older.
and then he's the best manager I ever have at work.
Al's a great guy
He's a great, amazing person.
and a musician.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes me like him more, because it's like I love music. Music is my life. He knows that. Like, you know, when he comes in the warehouse I'm working at, it's like I always play my Samoan music and I'm singing. Yep. So, yeah, he's the most amazing person I ever met in my life.
And Nicky's real. I mean, he's the real person. He's the real deal. That's what I like.
Yeah.
About him. I mean, there's nothing fake about anything that's going on. He's the real person.
Yeah.
Then anything that's cultural for me, it just brings me back when I hear his Samoan music. It just brings me back to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So it's similar, right? It's not the same, but it's similar. So it just brings me back.
Yeah.
I love culture, and it brings you back to your culture, your roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love Al.
Oh yes. Who's not?
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, would it be awesome if it's like, you know, you guys can come over and watch me play like the last tournament, the last end of me.
So there is an end as far as a retirement in your.
This is it.
Hold it. Do we really want to say this is it? 2021
This is it, because it's like, you know,
for professional play.
Yes, I just want to focus more about my family and my life, like going forward. But it will, if my son will allow me, if I still have the strength and the energy to play one more World Cup qualifier, it would be really cool to play with him in the national team.
You know, it's crazy though that you say that.
The Griffies.
Yeah, with the Griffies, is that today in sports, people in their 40s are incredibly strong and talented. They compete with the people in their 20s. I mean, head to head, and they do every bit as well, if not better. And it almost doesn't matter what sport it is. Is this the word physicality? But the strength that the 40-year-old has is as great as a 20-year-old nowadays.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it has to do with their experience.
Yep.
And how they use their strength. I do think the 20-year-olds are probably more strong and they recover faster. But the 40-year-olds know how to use their strength a lot more. I think that's
a good way of putting that out. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree, because it's like the more I grow, the more I getting old, it's like the more experience I get.
You mean it's kind of like I'm staying away from that because I'm going to get hurt?
Yeah, but it's like the more I get old, like, the more I get there, like, the more experience I get. Like, right now it's just like I play against like, 20, 18-year-old kids in rugby. But I have the experience, like I'll say, I have the experience to use to beat them.
Yeah, right.
Even they have fast speed, and they have the speed, but I have the brain to take care of that.
You know where it's going.
Yes.
Not go where it is. You know where it's going, so you go there.
Yeah, it's the same thing with soccer, because it's like, when I was 39, before I become 40, last year, I played against like 20-year-old kid like in soccer, but I know how to beat them in the way to beat their speed.
Yeah.
So if you have the, like, in England, I don't know if if this is true or not, but this is what I researched, like in goalkeeper wise, because I play goalkeeper. If you're not 30 and older, you're not good enough to become a goalkeeper.
Interesting.
Because they're saying it's like 30 and over, you have more experience to play goalkeeper than younger generations. So that's like, like younger than 30. That's what I heard.
So if you're over 30, you're better prepared to be a goalkeeper.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Than the younger ones.
Right, because you can anticipate the play.
Yeah.
It's
And
probably most of it, right? Because that's basically what goalkeeping is, right? Is anticipating where the ball is going to be.
Yep. You always prepare yourself, and then you always have to be alert.
Well, I guess that's kind of like, defense and offense, but I'm talking about baseball and football, American football, where you've got the quarterbacks who are in their approaching 40 or in their 40s. You've got the pitchers who are in their 40s. We can even go to the MMA, which fighters are now in their 40s, and they could be considered in their prime. Where 20 years ago, the prime was 20 years ago, strength, brute strength. Now we're talking about, like you two were saying, the knowledge that you've gained over the years. So where somebody a 20-year-old might say, we got A, B, C, D, but the 40-year-old goes, well, I know where you're going, so I'm going to meet you there, and I'm going to beat you there. So that's very interesting as far as sports and age goes, and your abilities.
Oh, you know what? In age-wise, it's like, there's some emotions, things that in age level that I was like, that like for me personally, I don't know if this is like really excited like to talk about it, but it's like, I have a lot of like, crazy thing happen along the way, like while I'm like playing soccer. So like with with money wise, the party, the excitements, like with women's, and then like all that kind of things.
Wait a minute, we should get into that later.
But it's like going through that is like the most emotion things is like ever happened to me in life. Is like there was a time that that was like that I lose like interested in soccer, and then I thought I was gonna to become like to become suicide, and then I was like I didn't know where like I can do that, or but thinking back I was like this is like in 2002 when I was like really like emotionally, like because it's like my grandpa, he was my hero. He's always watched me play, and then when he passed away in 2000, it's like I wasn't even like the same.
Mm-hmm.
So he was my hero. Like he's like everything to me. And when he passed away, I was like, I got nowhere else to go. I have to like So I almost suicide in 2002, and 2003, exactly 2003. I almost did that, but soccer brought me back to life. I feel like I want to do that, and then some of my friends was like, hey, come over, there's a game that we're gonna go play. So it brought me back to life.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, without soccer, I wouldn't be here now. So.
I see where playing sports, playing music, being in front of people, being recognized, and then having a mentor like your grandfather or whoever it might be, when they leave us, maybe some of us tend to think that we don't have that guidance any longer, and we start to drift, and we might think about doing something that's not good for us. But in the end, like you said, it's the sport. You love the sport, so you really realize that it wasn't my mentor or my grandfather, whoever it was, that made me play. It's actually he made me realize, or she made me realize, it's the sport and the love that I have for the sport. So I'm going to continue playing that sport because I love to do it. So that's cool. So hopefully a lot of people out there really realize whatever that you're doing that you love, it's because you love it, not because somebody's telling you to do it.
I think sometimes you do it because you want the validation from the person that you're doing it for, and then when they leave, for whatever reason, you can't get that validation anymore. But then I think your mentality switches, and it says, they did validate me while they were here, and they're going to validate me because I'm still going to continue on with whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. Mike Tyson, I want to see you kick some ass.
Oh, I saw that. He's back on the saddle now, isn't it?
Older man, back on the saddle.
I know, but he's going to.
He was scary in his time.
Yeah.
He was a scary person. I mean, you did not want to get in the ring with him. He was serious.
But he's now, if you see his review before his first fight, I think it's 3 more months right now, and then he's gonna fight again.
I think it got postponed, but then I think you're right.
3 more months, and then he's gonna fight.
It's funny as far as Mike Tyson now. I mean, back then, he was a scary guy, but I think I'm gonna beat you up. Look at that, But now, I mean, you're like, what? Yeah. But now he's really serious. I mean, he's like, I'm fit.
When he would stare at you in the ring, I mean, everyone else was talking smack, right? And he would just stare at you. You're going, he's gonna kick that guy.
Yeah, he's gonna kill him.
Yeah. And then you wanted him to, because you're going, that guy's just talking smack, and you sitting there, Mike, just beat that guy's ass.
Yeah.
I think it's just sometimes it's when you think in sport, it's it's not entertained, but it's very entertaining.
It is.
Because it's for an example, in football, in American football, okay, if it's like a corner over here talk a lot of smack about this receiver, and then the receiver beat this corner, and then you see them is like, what did I say? What did I say? What did I told you? You know, that's just like entertain.
Yeah,
you know?
it's fun. It's definitely fun.
It's so funny.
And on the flip side of that, again, we're going with the Tyson thing. It's like when somebody's, and even with a McGregor, and even with a female,
Ronda Rousey.
Rousey, yeah, they lose once, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they lose their confidence, and it's like,
Exactly.
what happens? Yeah.
But I'll bet you they don't even really care if I'm like, you know, a U.S. fighter right now, and then if I lose 7, you know, fight over and over and over, I still make $50,000.
Yep.
Yeah, and some
doesn't-
people it's about dollars and some it's like dollars and cents, like bring it on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I get beat up or knock out in the first round. I was like, hey, I got $50,000.
Yep, I made my paycheck.
Being at the top, I think being at the top is I mean, that's the most stressful.
Yeah.
If you're right below the top and you're still working it, I think you're fine there.
Yeah.
It's just at the top when you're in the spotlight. You're
Yeah.
going, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
Because you're at this pinnacle where people are expecting you to do something,
Right.
and sometimes you can't deliver that all the time.
I think
Yeah.
there was something. There was a I don't know the term to use, but a psychiatric study on Olympians and champions from the first place winner to the second and third, where they said that the first place person was in stress more and they would worry about losing, so they would perform almost worse, whereas the second or third place player performed better like in the future because they had nowhere to go, but they were shooting for the top type of thing.
You always
So-
want to shoot for the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be at the top trying to keep it.
Right.
You want to shoot for it. So you always want to be in second place. That's why I always tell my workers, I said, I'm not the best, I'm the second best. I'm always shooting for the best.
Yeah, so you never want to be first. You never want to be winner.
You don't want to be
yeah.
complacent about it.
Right.
As well, yeah.
So it's like the same thing with any football player. Like I always go back in soccer or football, American football. If you're a substitute, and then when you have a chance to go into play, you have to perform as better as like
You
the
gotta
first
take it.
place. Yeah, you have to do that. You know, you have to be the best. Because, you know, that's why it's just like all the substitutions are better than the first place.
Honey, don't worry. It may not have been great this time, but next time I'm going to do better. And the time after that, I'm even going to be better.
Yeah, you're going to be better.
I'm always going to try my best.
Yeah.
That's why the not the ex-husband, but the current husband is always the best.
Okay, yeah.
I will take that.
I better find one and get married. Oh, so we could. This has been great. So we could just go free flow from here. I mean, I think we got pretty much everything that we want to talk from you as far as the sport and you, unless there's anything else that you want to add to yourself and the sport.
You know, the only thing I can ask for is just like, you know, for all the young generations, like around the United States or in the islands, like for American Samoan people that, you know, that they want to become national players. You know, I just want to be, you know, like for them to have the passions and love for, like, you know, to come play for our country.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but about your sister.
Oh, yeah. So, that was the other breaking point, but, you know, to be honest, it's like I almost brought it up, but
You don't have to.
no, I have to. Yeah. So, my sister, so in June, so right going back to my grandparents, like, you know, to my grandpa, for an example, when I heard the story about my sister that got murdered in Georgia this year, I almost drank to death and become like just kill myself for any other reason. So But because she's the youngest in our family,
Okay.
and she was the most brightest and beautiful, human being that that anyone that can hang out with or meet or she's so humble for anything. She's very generous, for anything. Even if she don't have money, she always send money to my mom. But anyway, she got murdered in Georgia, and I was devastated. And I was about to do something really, really bad that, and even my coworker would probably Al and Steve would probably found out that I die somewhere. And then I think about it, what the outcomes, what can I do to get out from it? Because she got shot in Georgia by her ex-boyfriend, or her boyfriend. So, and for me, I was don't know what the right thinking, what the right mindset, what the right words to say, or the right thing to say. Sport didn't help me. Anything didn't help me. But my friend kept telling me, come play soccer with us, just it might help you. So soccer was the only thing that helped me, and going to work, because Al and our other managers, Steve, kept telling me, just relax and take times. The only thing that was helping me to survive until now, from June now, it was my son sitting right in front of me. Because I went over and talked to Al and Steven and says hey, think about your family, think about this, and think about, what can, but that was the thing that, it was devastated, But other than that, my sister is she's still in Georgia right now.
She's in your heart.
Yes, but we're trying to send her back in the island, but the airport is closed right now. But we're trying to get her. But
a lot of it has to do with COVID, right?
Yeah.
So you're still trying to get her back to Samoa.
Because we were supposed to bury her right next to our dad down in Samoa, but we couldn't even do it because it's the coronavirus is killing all of us.
Yeah, and the airports are shut down.
Yeah.
Right? Samoa does not want anybody in.
No one wants to be in there.
Well, stay strong. I'm glad you have a support system like Al and your work and your love for soccer, football. That keeps you strong. So that's good.
Yeah. So it was the most devastating thing ever.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's what could it be a great outcomes from it, especially I'm driving 2 hours every day to come to work, and then I was what is the worst thing that I can do in this distance?
Yeah.
Especially when I was kept thinking about and then thinking and thinking and thinking. But overall, it's I feel more comfortable right now, because work is helping me. My wife is and my son is helping me, and soccer is always helping me because it's I play every Tuesday with my friends and family, so it's all good, It's a blessing.
Well, I hope that the three of us, this is going to be on tape or video. I hope the three of us get to do this once or twice a month, every month, just talk about stuff.
Oh, we're definitely.
It'd be great.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. I'm definitely going to do this over and over. It's I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so awesome. It's excited.
And for the beer, it's free.
Well, I guess Al brought the beer, but I'm going to have to get some other beer other than this Voodoo Ranger Spicy release.
Yeah.
Atomic Pumpkin.
By Belgium.
Yeah.
New Belgium! And some chips. I'll put a bowl out here with chips and candy and popcorn. So from here on out, we could just be casual.
Do you want another voodoo?
No.